Welcome back, everybody, for the second match of the DreamHack Community Clash Cup for North America. We've switched out Gilbert, though, so we have a new caster casting with me. It is my old good friend, DeltaMarket, on the mic, and we're still having Dr. Underscore doing production for this match. What is up, DeltaMarket? Good to have you today.
It's going well. I'm really excited to be here casting this tournament. These teams have both, gone through a lot of teams, won a lot of games, but now we must watch them compete and see which one wins.
So both teams have secured at least the fourth placing for this tournament. So they will be guaranteed at the minimum $240. But what's at stake here is an extra $120 should they move on to the third place match and a third place medal for this cup, because there are participant medals coming out for this cup if you are playing in it. That being said, we have Laundromat versus Large 9. Lasanafe had a bit of was able to progress through with, well, I mean, they just made it through to the lower bracket round 3. How did they do it? They didn't even have to play. They didn't even have to enter the server in order to beat the enemy team. The other team showed up a bit too late, and well, they got the default W. Meanwhile, you just saw Large 9 defeat Rome in a bit of a feisty, fiery match. They won 2-0 on Metalworks and Process. I believe Metalworks was 4-1, and Process was won by them 5-2, without even having to go past the 30-minute round timer. Remember, we are on the Unity rule set. That being said, this is the fourth place match. Both teams, regardless of how they made it, they've ended up here. They've earned their spot here. Now they're going to be playing to potentially move to third place. That being said, we're going to run down the rosters really quickly. On the side of Large 9, we still have Prick My Nick on the Pocket Scout, Rive on Flying Scout, Saxophone, Roamer. Pocket Soldier is Tara. Or I think it actually might be switched around. But anyways, Korean on the Demo Man, Rave AC, Medic. On the side of Lasanta Fe Laundromat, we have Wonder on the Pocket Scout, JPEG Flank Scout, Tony B on the Roamer. No, it's Anthony on the Roamer. Tony B's on the Pocket Soldier, actually. And Demo Man is Alfredo Dan with Jude on the Medic. So, a few advanced and invite players, specifically Wonder, playing Pocket Soldier for Dynasty. And then we have Jude, who's currently playing in advance with Buck Nasty. Alfredo Dan, not playing in advance right now, but has played with a few advanced teams like FX Death Cult for the last local host LAN. We have Tony B and Anthony. Anthony very feared for his Beggar's Bazooka, though. And we actually also have Gilbert here to help do some analysis for this match. So Gilbert, welcome to the mic once again.
Thank you for having me back. I mean, I think if we just look at last game, we just really want to see those continued improvements on the side of Large 9. As we saw in the first half on Metalworks, we're having a little bit of an issue keeping the med alive. Lost their med, or got forced by some very obvious sacks, things that shouldn't happen. That was much improved towards the end, as well as their last pushes were another thing they kind of got better at over time in their last series, where, like we said earlier, we don't want to harp on this too much, but a couple times got picks, rolled into last, but the people in front ended up getting cleaned up in like the 3v3 before the rest of the team could really collapse and help them out, and then the other spawns would come in, and some missed opportunities there. The third thing I really want to keep an eye on is the mids. Although they're doing better at the other aspects of the game, their pushes seem, for the most part, pretty good. In the second half, the setup seemed pretty good. For the most part, it just seemed like the mid fights were an issue for them, especially when dealing with the aggression. Seems like most times Rome got aggressive in the last match we just watched. It seemed like Rome was the victor. So we'll see if Large 9 can deal with the aggression a little bit better in this next match. Something to keep in mind on the... Oh, sorry, go ahead with the map picks, Jay.
Yep, so hold that thought there, Gilbert, while we go over the map picks. We did get the map vetoes, and we do have it shown up on the screen. So on the side of Large 9, they were the Team A, so they had the first ban. They banned Sunshine. On the side of Lasanafe, they banned Product. For map picks, we are on Bagel, which is our first map, which was picked by Large 9, and then Lasanafe picked Snake. Large 9 banned Metal, and then Lasanafe banned Process, so we do have Gully Wash as our decider map. So, in general, maybe aside from Bagel, unless you play Bagel correctly, these maps may tend to favor soldiers, I'd say, honestly. But Gilbert, what were you going to say moving on from that?
Yeah, no problem. And I just want to say something in terms of La Santa Fe Laundromat to consider is the fact that since they had that situation in the first round, weren't able to play their match, got to move on. The thing is, they might not be quite warmed up, and it doesn't look like, looking at the logs, they were able to secure a pregame. So they're coming into this kind of cold while Large Time has had some time to really heat up, get going. So I think that might play into favor of Large 9 a little bit here. That'll be interesting to watch how kind of the heat. Uh, just finishing another playoff game is going to help them. On the other hand, it could also hurt them sometimes. Playing a game beforehand can just burn you out just a little bit, especially two long games like that, when about 30 minutes each. So it'll be interesting to see how they adapt, and if sort of the fatigue factor or lack of warm-up factor will affect this match.
That being said, though, DeltaMarket, I know you're familiar with a certain player from Lasana Fe Laundromat. That is JPEG, former teammate of yours. What are your thoughts on JPEG, despite the rest of this roster on Lasana Fe?
I think that he is a really good player, and that the Lasana Fe roster generally, I think a lot of those players really play well together. And would also like to point out, I'm not sure if it was mentioned, Alfredo Dan did actually, I believe, play in Invite one season. And I think he played at least some matches on demo.
Yeah, definitely. They do have that invite experience on Wonder and Alfredo Dan. Alfredo Dan having played with Mopsy and her team. I believe that was like season 7 invite. Don't remember, but it was invite hostages, if I remember correctly. That was a team. They didn't manage to win, but he gained some valuable experience from playing in that season. That being said, though, these are a bunch of ragtags that were just like kind of put together for the cup. And they also have a secret weapon for them. So if you haven't played against Anthony, you're facing off against a Beggar's Bazooka roamer. Gilbert, how do we feel about the Beggar's Bazooka making its entrance into the foray of this cup?
I mean, it's definitely it's something that can definitely. I mean, when you get killed by any meme weapon, it really can throw your mental off. So it's something to keep out an eye out for. On the other hand, I feel like Beggar's Bazooka may be difficult to use on Bagel just because the value of taking the houses with your soldiers is so high. It feels like the lack of spam or the reduced spam power coming from the Beggar Bazooka may be an issue. On the other hand, charging up that Beggar Bazooka and rounding a corner in house and one-shotting a soldier or a scout, it could be an interesting gimmick to watch out for. That actually could come into play if he decides to pull it out.
Right on. And we are on Bagel, so this might actually be a map that doesn't favor the Beggar's Bazooka as much as you'd think it would. Delta, do you have any thoughts about how effective the Beggar's Bazooka will be on Bagel? I'm thinking it's not going to be that effective. Like, there's not really much spots where Anthony can high bomb from. And the house control, which is essential for a soldier on Bagel, like, you'll be able to fight house really well with the Beggars, I believe.
Well, I think you might actually be able to do some jumps with it you can't with the normal rocket launcher. I know he has a way of doing high bombs without really shooting off a wall specifically. And so I think that might throw the other team off because you're not really used to soldiers doing any bombs like that. But the Beggar's Bazooka, if you know how to use it, you can do high bombs. And I think it will be kind of uncertain as to how that will work on a map like this. If the scouts from Lasagna Lasana are really aware of it, they can, I think, deny it really effectively. But sometimes you have situations where both the scouts are on point. And so if he's able to bomb during that, it might be very effective. As for holding the houses, yeah, I think it will cause him some problems, and there might be an opportunity for flank pressure to go against him.
But Gilbert, any thoughts for the Beggars here on Toth? Looks like Tara has returned. Looks like they were trying to find a ringer originally for Tara, but Tara has come back. So we do have all 12 players.
Yeah, I think something to keep in mind also is just that if there are any weird bomb angles for the Beggar's Bazooka, I don't know them. Probably no one on the other team knows them. So at the very least, it does have the element of surprise in that factor.
Any thoughts also on Lasana Fe? So Wonder is not playing his main class. He's generally known to be a soldier, but he's on Pocket Scout. I'm not sure if any of you have played with Wonder in the past, but I've heard that his main calling, or at least he has main called in a few teams before, so maybe this is the ideal role to substitute him into.
Yeah, I think this scout role for him does make sense. I feel like even when he's playing in main, he's playing main scout for a little while, pretty early on in like season 2, I believe. he actually was a pretty good main caller. I played with him in a few pugs, and it seemed like his calls were always pretty clear and easy to follow. So I think what he lacks in Scout DM, he can make up for with his calls, and he does have a lot of experience now, especially now that he's played Invite for a while and played at the top of Advanced. So I think in terms of comms, even though this is kind of a pug team, just a Hapdash mix of players, I think his coordination and calls will be able to help keep them together.
We also are waiting on the players to just get ready. We have all 12 players on their teams. We're just waiting for them to ready up. In terms of the maps, though, can we get some predictions before we start, Gilbert?
Yeah, I think especially since this is kind of a ragtag team with not maybe at a slight disadvantage on the scout end, I think that Santa Fe Laundromat will I don't believe they'll win this. I believe it'll be 1-3 in favor of large. It does go to 3. Is that correct? Or is it a 4?
I believe so. It is Unity
Yep.
rule. No, it's Unity
predicting-
rule set, so it should be 4. Should be 4.
Yeah, I'm predicting a 4-1 on the side of large. Regardless, I believe Laundromat will get around. I just don't believe they will win, especially considering this is one of the best maps from Large 9. As we saw on the in the regular season of RGL, as the Epica Gargamel, they took RPC, one of the top teams, to a very close finishes. They lost 3-4, but made it very competitive. So I'm feeling this is going to be a very strong map for large. Now the next map, I do believe they'll also win. I don't believe it'll be quite as dominant, but I do think that this will ultimately be 2-win maps for large.
Looks like the teams are going to ready up. I did get confirmation that it is, at least based on the config and what the teams are saying in the chat, it should be to 3, so 3-1. Who were you predicting in favor for this map, Gilbert?
Yep, 3-1 in favor of large, and then on the next one, I believe probably 5-1.
And Delta, what about you for this map specifically?
I think I'm actually going to go the other way. I think Santa Fe can win. I would say 4-2 for them. I believe in their. I know it's a scrappy roster, but I believe in the players.
And with that being said, I'm gonna put my chips on a 4-2 win for Large 9. I just feel like these guys on Koth, at least from what I've seen from them in RGL, these guys should be feared regardless of them having Korean and Rave AC subbing in for Mojo and Polyphobia here. So we're bound to see some good action. We're going to see some high octane action, maybe a lot of scrappy fights because it is Koth after all in Bagel. It's a map where, you know, if you're walking cross point and you're putting heavy focus towards point, you could potentially see a scrappy fight between the combos of each team. And with the soldiers and houses and the opportunities that you can have to take control of the houses and go behind on the flank, this map opens up an endless world of possibilities for how both teams will play it. So that being said, we're going to do our quick shout outs here to our sponsors for this DreamHack Community Clash North American Cup. It is sponsored by Intel, Circle K, US Air Force, and Monster Energy. So make sure you have your Monster Energy drinks on you. We're in for a marathon potentially, as we're going to see nonstop action here on Koth Bagel. And Gilbert, thank you for coming in. Hopefully we'll see you coming in for the post-game analysis if you still have the time. But thank you so much for coming in.
Yep, sounds good. I'll see you guys soon.
That being said, we are on the first map, which is Koth Bagel. It is picked by Frick My Nick's team, Large 9. And based on their RGL record, like Gilbert says, these guys are menaces on Koth, to say the least. Looks like we're still running into some problems on the side of Wasana, Faye, Laundromat, so still haven't readied up. But Delta, any other thoughts? I know that Wasana Faye did make it here despite the forfeit win versus the Monsters, which was the Walrex Yambo team. But hey, we actually have all players in. So once again, this is the DreamHack Community Clash Cup lower bracket round 3. Winner moves on to the third place decider match versus the loser of 20ZC versus Froyotech in the upper bracket finals. I am Jay. Joining me is DeltaMarket, Dr. _ on production. DeltaMarket, take away this first mid.
Sure, we are seeing both teams start off passively, just a bit of spamming. Neither scout is really going forward as the point has not opened up yet. You don't really see any flank aggression yet. But Alfredo Dan walking across, starting off the aggression. letting jayy run forward as well. And it looks like in the left house, red team has pressured a lot.
They pressured a lot indeed, and now Everton wants to walk with jayy across point, but they're facing down the barrel of two soldiers who they do pick. They get Korean, they get Rive, who is trying to aggressive flank, and look at the enemies deep with the beggars. Brave AC is so low, but Jude, it's just him and Wonder. But Wonder's doing a good job of destroying the two players aggressing, and Anthony in the meanwhile has killed Brave AC. So it's just Direct My Nick on mid, and the two respawning players, Rive and Korean. Anthony, really crucial pick. Besides the mid, but Wonder protecting his medic, really good job.
Yeah, definitely. Wonder keeping his med alive is going to let them have uber advantage here. And so it's really on Large 9 to initiate and get this force off.
Yeah, Large 9, they're going with the round being so early in its days, they can afford to go for a 4-man stack here, and it looks like Riven and Co, they're gonna bomb on the plat towards main, but Jude, he was caught in a corner, he was in main, just wasn't in the right area to kite out. I guess they wanted to bunker up in main, but instead, with Santa Fe, they lost 3 against a 4-man stack at that, and they even got 4, so they can't afford the forward hold. They can't even afford to get any kind of like sneaky play in because they lost 3.
Yeah, fortunately though, they do have about 50 seconds off of the clock so far, and looks like Large 9 is going to be coming in, getting this cap point. Brave AC does have Uber, so we have to see how Santa Fe takes this force. It looks like they're pressuring with their scouts, doing a lot of damage to the demo as Tony B bombs in, doing a bunch of damage. And Tony doing a high bomb, not able to pick the rockets though, and I think he gets air shot too. So Brave AC is going to hold on to Uber.
Anthony had such a clean bomb, but that's the con of having the Beggar's Bazooka. Because you shoot so many rockets out rapidly, it's also not bound to be accurate in a straight line. It can spread around within a certain area of radius of the crosshair. But never mind that, the forward hold is stifling from the side of Large 9, and we see a soldier, no, that's Korean, setting up trust towards Plat, as with Santa Fe, they try to push out here towards the ramp area.
Yeah, Wonder walking in through right, and then Tony high bombing in through main. It looks like an air shot on the Rive on point. What a great shot by him. Wonder continuing the aggression with jayy in-house. Santa Fe's done a great job taking the point, but the Uber comes out for Rave. Jude is going to have to be careful not to drop anyone. Great job getting flashes, allowing... Actually, looks like Rave was caught out.
Wait, Saxophone's in the medic! Saxophone bombing in from the house, is able to land 2 rockets onto Jude, and gets that last reload in to clean off Jude. He was in the backlines, and he wasn't accounted for. All the expenses and the liabilities on the balance sheet of the Santa Fe, they didn't count for the liability that was the Saxophone bomb. My goodness. It's an even fight now, Delta.
Yeah, Large 9 does get that cap off, and the spawns for Santa Fe are going to be coming up. And it looks like jayy trying to aggress on the point, but his players are not there yet, so he has to back up.
Back up indeed, and because Jude spawned a little later, RayAC is going to have a 30% Uber, no, actually a 25-ish% Uber ad, and it's going to be a dry fight here without Ubers. Korean and Co. is walking across point. Dan is really low, and Wonder goes down. Doesn't help the troubles of the Santa Fe combo. And Alfredo Dan gets walked out by Rive, who does get that pick, and that allows Large 9 to take point here and maintain it.
Remember, Santa Fe had a 50-second time advantage, but it's already dwindled down. They do not have Uber yet. Rave could take this Uber into them if they wanted to be aggressively. And it looks like jayy does go down, and 2 down. Alfredo Dan dying in the backline to Saxophone, it looks like.
Saxophone might die here in main, gets caught out by Tony B jumping up onto the platform towards main. Tony B doing a bit of damage there, but Dan is down. They don't have Uber just yet, so they can't push up. But during this push, they should be able to get it. Jude coming up now on the Uber, led through the charge, is spearheaded by Wonder and jayy. jayy was dropped in the last push. It's up to Jude to not drop any more players, but jayy is walking across point. So much damage on the Frick, and Anthony took a 2v1 in-house versus Rive, who is flanking behind on a jayy, but isn't able to clear the kill. Instead, Jude is going to force up the Uber, and the players are so low. Saxophone and Tara were both 40 or less HP. Tara does go down trying to bomb out. The Uber is popped out in response by the side of Large 9, and Frick My Nick is able to catch up jayy with Rive towards Plat. So they do have a lot of space here with this Uber, but they just have to fall back because they can't set up in time.
Yeah, definitely. Santa Fe's players are trying to come in as they do not have a lot of time here. Wonder's trying to pressure the point, it looks like, with Alfredo Dan, as Tony high bombs across, trying to land on that scout, doing a bunch of damage to Frick My Nick. He's 2 health, gets cleaned up by Wonder, as there is fighting in the right house and across point. Alfredo Dan. Now Alfredo Dan getting landed on by Saxophone. That's no demo man for the side of Santa Fe. Wonder is trying to fight this 1v1. Finally, with JPEG cleans it up. But
Keep your eyes on Saxophone.
Yeah, Saxophone hiding in the corner on very low health. And it's overtime. So one mistake for Santa Fe and it's over for them. But it looks like
no! Wait, Anthony turned around. He didn't see him. Oh no! Saxophone hasn't made his play yet. In the meanwhile, Tara does go down, and Saxophone, the driver, he gets Peter shot onto Jude, and Jude drops. Alfredo Dan even going down 2 in kind to that. Great flank from Saxophone gives his team the winning edge in this round, and they can push with full Uberad.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking to see. No one checking that. They had an opportunity to do that forward hold, but it's gone now. JPEG trying to hold up on the left. He gets spotted, has to run away. The medic's not even here yet for Santa Fe, so all their players are low health. As Large 9 is already fighting the point. Look at that cap time, it's seconds away. Wonder fighting Tony bombing across, but the Uber comes out for Raid AC. There's no Uber for Juke. These Uber players are just destroying everyone on the side of Santa Fe.
And little by little, their HP whittles on the side of Santa Fe, and they are down to just Alfredo down 8 HP, who's fighting against 2 players. Somehow, this fight is so close despite the Uber advantage on the side of Large 9, but it doesn't matter. It was all written in the book for Large 9 to win this round. I also want to note there that even though it was overtime and Santa Fe hadn't capped, Large 9 went for a 4-man there that enabled the Saxophone play, but that was only because they had the time to go try to get an advantage by trying to go for a 4-man. They could afford to go with the point as long as they get that force there. But never mind that. First round on the board for Large 9. Delta. What's going to happen?
Looks like we are just exchanging spam for now. None of the scouts really running across. But Alfredo Dan actually going really aggressive, but no one's in the left house, so Alfredo Dan gets destroyed by Saxophone. No one's watching that side. And Tony's taking a 1v1 in the right house with T, losing it. That's 2 down for Santa Fe.
And Wonder loses the 2v1 with JPEG against Freak My Nick, who just absolutely stampedes across left house on those scouts. And Jude is able to live, but he was sent all the way back to the spawn doors. No one to heal. And once again, Large 9, they're able to settle this war. But Anthony's deep on the demo. He's on flat. But on the inaccuracy of the biggest bazooka. But no! He distracts her. Scouts are just walking and barrel his way onto the demo there. 2 kicks on the demo and Scouts straight away. But Anthony and Alfredo are down. Uber is popped out. Jude doesn't have his Uber yet. So he's going to get caught potentially towards main. JPEG is able to bring his medic out. And they are able to get Korean or Rive. I thought they got an extra pick there on the side of Santa Fe, but no. They have Uber though, but they're able to push up towards Padella.
Yeah, Santa Fe has broken the forward hold, it looks like. Alfredo Dan walking across. I want to see if they take this Uber aggressively, if they try and cap it. No, the soldiers are bombing in for the side of Large 9, trying to get this force off, killing Alfredo Dan as Jude drops the pipes of the demo for Large 9. Wonder is trying to hold it down, but there's just not much for him to do. And Tony goes in to try to salvage, but not able to hit the last rocket. And Wonder running in through right. What a great play by him. Going the opposite side as a soldier bomb to get in for free. Cleaning up Brave AC.
Driving in the chaos are with Santa Fe, but it didn't matter because Jude dropped it. That's his second drop of the match, and we're only on the second round halfway through it to boot. So Jude not starting off on the right foot, but there's always time to recover. But note with the Unity rules that it's not first to 4. It's not like RGL. It's only first to 3, so can't be sleeping too long, Jude. But Saxophone is going to take a bite towards Black House against Tony B. And so even fight so far until Saxophone does win it out. But Alfredo Dan, he's getting aggressed on by Tara, who cleans him up. JPEG should be able to get this pick, but Tara! He's somehow out with 13 HP. He came away with the robbery, and Anthony's in on the medic, but isn't able to clean it up. But Jude, he gets the arrow from across the map.
Wow, that's insane. Jude really coming in clutch for Santa Fe. And now Jude has full Uber advantage. This is just what Santa Fe needs. It looks like Alfredo Dan wants to take it, but
Tara, right house. He's on Jude. Jude is not being healed. Oh, we're at a pause. But look at the situation, Delta. I had to interrupt you there because Tara, look at his position and look at where Jude is and look at where Jude's scouts are. They're nowhere to be found.
Yeah, it seems like Alfredo Dan was calling the Uber. I saw him put a sticky down. Looked like he wanted to go. And it seemed like the scouts were in agreement with him running on ahead. Something must have happened that split up the combo, though.
But why is look at Wonder's positioning as the pocket scout. You kind of question why he's that far across point, but why is Jude also that far back on plat?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but we'll have to see how the surfing goes. There's a chance Jude just surfs the rocket in and it goes fine, but have to worry, especially with the time situation. Santa Fe's only got 9 seconds off the clock, and large 9 is somewhat near to overtime.
Well, while we wait for this pause to finish, obviously the round timer is going to go on because that's just how Source TV works for you. Or actually, I'm kind of questioning how Jude's going to get out of this rut because Wonder it should be able to kill Rive here chasing in house. Rive is down to 30 HP. The problem is Tara. Tony B is aware of the fact that Jude is about to be bombed by Tara. How much? Oh, I wish I could see how much ammo Tara has loaded on his rocket launcher right now, because that would determine if he can clean up this kill before Tony B bombs in onto him. That being said, though, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors in the meantime of this pause. DreamHack is sponsored by Intel. Circle K, might be familiar with them with convenience stores, but I know they're not up here in the Northeast USA, that's for sure. US Air Force is also sponsoring DreamHack and this tournament, and Monster Energy too, so go get your Intel gear. Go buy some stuff from the Circle K convenience stores. Maybe you even want to go sign up in the military and commit 4 years to the US Air Force. Or maybe you just want to go buy some Monster Energy drinks at 7-Eleven. Go support our sponsors, and thank you to DreamHack for also allowing us to host this Clash Cup. And Essentials TF for doing the back end work for us. Shout out to Arch Rhythm in the backlines. And Bod, who's in the stream chat. And John. Can't forget about John. God, give us a wave in the chat there. I know you're out. You're there lurking the chat.
Yeah, how do you think about this map playing out? I know we were talking about the Antony high bombs and how we didn't really know how those would play in. It seems like the surprise of them might have kind of worn off, as his last several haven't really found anything. But, you know, combining that with Wonder, they did manage to kill Rave with one of them.
But the thing is that every time Large 9 has 4-man, they've been able to kill or force Jude. And Jude is already up on 2 drops, and I believe he's currently at 5 medic deaths that I've counted so far on this map. A Bagel, I mean, how do you even really hold against a 4-man sack? What is your ideal positioning for Lasana Fe if you want to be able to prevent Jude from being forced against these 4-mans, really?
Usually from you either prevent it aggressively by catching out the other medic. That's usually ideal. You know, if you're not able to forward hold, a lot of times either in house, the left house, or the house towards spawn on the right. Usually you can have soldiers or the demo kind of lock out both of the doorways. It looks like the Uber, the pause has ended. Jude trying not to Uber, but gets landed on by Tara. Yeah, 96%, not quite a drop, but very unfortunate. Rive is through left house doing a lot of damage. It looks like there is another pause, yeah.
Producer, were we on Tara that whole time? Thank God. Dr. Underscore is reassuring my worries, because I was not on Tara during that. I was looking at the drip check of Alfredo Dan, who did go down during that. Right? Wonder, maybe a bit too overzealous, or maybe wasn't keeping check of Jude not being on the beam with him.
The pause has ended, and Tony does win a trade with a 1v1, hitting an air shot onto Saxophone. It looked Frick my Nick cleaning up JPEG on point, and now looks like the point is going to stay in the hands of Large 9. I don't think Santa Fe has a bunch of time here, and they're also on uber disadvantage.
Well, the thing is, if they play fast enough, they can at least fight the mid and try to kill Ravasi before he gets a super. So right now, I think Santa Fe are just going to have to go balls to the wall, and they're making their way through the grass area into the point on this mid. They are aggressing through the houses too, but Tony B a bit too aggressive. Nobody there to follow up with him, and Wonder being focused down to 5 HP. JPEG is a man fighting on a mission alone against Rive and Frick My Nick. But now his partner is coming up, but Ravasi has the Uber. They're going to use Frick My Nick is going to focus down Alfredo Dan, and Saxophone flanking from right house does get the pick on a Jude and JPEG. But Wonder is too late to clean up the frag there. He does get the pick, but his combo and everybody else is dead. And it's just Tony B, the late respawn coming in, and Large 9. They should be able to take this round.
Yeah, definitely. It seemed like Santa Fe's been having some problems with their combo. The Jude some Ubers that should be happening are not happening, and they need to tighten those issues and get rid of them, because it's going to cost them more rounds if they don't fix that.
But the length of that pause, hopefully you went to the Circle K convenience stores and got your Monster Energies, because I did not know until now that they had Monster Energy. But this is where the pause happened. You can just see that little jitter in the Source TV. This is where the pause happened, and we're on the next mid right now. Both demos are trading spam. Anthony, same for the biggest bazooka, pretty good accuracy on the shed, but Saxophone and Rye were taking a 2v1 in-house against jayy, and they did win that fight. Jude, disuse? I think that was the Uber. Was that the Uber pause glitch?
It must have been.
Well, regardless of that being said, in the post-Uber fight, RayVC did get his Uber on time, and in this post-Uber fight, Large9 does come out on top once again, getting 4 frags to Lasana Faye's 2 picks, so they'll be able to set up a forward hold, thankfully. And jayy is
and Tony's actually in. The forward hold might have been broken as the flank has gotten in, and now Jude and Combo are able to go through lower right where Santa Fe. Alfredo Dan shooting stickies towards point as Santa Fe tries to initiate some sort of aggression or to take the point. Looks like, yeah, and Tony's bombing across to start that off as jayy holds the high ground on point. It's being contested by both teams right now, but it looks like Alfredo Dan's putting out more damage, but jayy keeps a pipe going down as Tony high bombs across, killing Frick My Nick, and RayVC dying to the pipes of Alfredo Dan, the stock pipes. And Tony's also bombing across, or Tony B.
Air shot from Saxophone obliterates Tony B, and that's gonna allow Tara to bomb onto Jude, but isn't it successful when Wonder's gonna just clean up these picks one by one. The force does come out from Jude from a late flanking ride from right house, but it doesn't matter. Lasana Faye, they have a way back in this round.
Yeah, definitely. Saxophone's actually hiding in the right house. Wonder actually missed him. And it looks like Saxophone's able to break through right, and so the forward hold is not going to be successful for Santa Fe. Actually, and Tony B wants to force the issue.
Saxophone's behind! Hold up, hold that thought, Delta. Saxophone's behind, he's on the back! He's on Jude! Big time players make big time plays! That man has got a medic time and time again, and his team has to heal advantage.
And Tony nuking across with the beggars almost actually killed RayVC in main, but he got that pack. jayy is behind, but it looks like they know. And Korean did a great job sticking him off.
So right now, RayVC has the Uber advantage. Delta, how are they going to break their way back into this mid? jayy is behind for main though. He gets that pick. RayVC, the first casualty on Large9, and that's the Uber advantage gone in the blink of an eye.
I'm pretty surprised. They knew jayy was behind, but somehow he just gets in and kills Rave. And it looks like Santa Fe is just going to be walking in through the top left. It seems like they've gotten through without too much spam. Oh, now it's coming from the demo, and their med's going to have to be careful. Jude's doing a good job dodging all of that damage.
It's looking really good right now for Lasana Faye. They just need to be able to contest this midpoint, which they are doing, but the 4-man stack is out. The double bomb from Tara and Saxophone. They get Jude and Alfredo Dan once again. The combo being the first casualty time and time again on Lasana Faye. And having Frick My Nick, the speed buff, allows RayVC to escape, and Frick My Nick is going to catch out Anthony, who's bombing a bit too early ahead of his soldier duo, Tony B, on plat. And jayy and Tony B, they're on a death mission right now. They try to get the force towards ramp, but jayy is going to get caught hiding on that crate area, and Frick My Nick is going to lead the charge here, try to secure this map and round for his team.
Yeah, definitely. Alfredo Dan walking in through left, eating a lot of damage as Hera does not want to give this forward hold up, doing a bunch of damage, killing Alfredo Dan and Tony B. The Uber does get forced off, but Jude goes down during it.
Wonder and Anthony are behind for this post-Uber. Do they know Wonder's going to be the first man up? He's going to get spotted out by Tara, but Anthony's deep on the medic, and Wonder's got the pack. The tag team duo, they take down RayVC, but they still don't have the mid-cap just yet, but Wonder's making a meal out of it. No, actually, that's jayy. And Wonder does finally get his 3-piece meal, gets the pick onto Korean, and he might make it a 4-piece onto Frick My Nick. Wonder's on a tear on the back lines. He's raiding Terror, make that a 5, and he's chasing down Saxophone on 10 HP. The pack was recently taken, and jay's gonna steal that, but my man, the scout duo on Lasana Faye, they made work of the Large9 team.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Santa Fe finally has an opportunity to do a forward hold. Alfredo Dan trying to hold this left as both the soldiers are on right. But it looks like Korean just jumps in. He doesn't care. Doing a lot of damage to Alfredo Dan. He almost craters over there.
And Anthony did on the medic! Oh, but the sync wasn't good. Sorry.
Yeah, jayy doing some dancing around on point as a scout. And it looks like Santa Fe's not having a great time holding this, but Alfredo Dan just gets those stickies off out of nowhere, killing Frick My Nick.
Frick My Nick was a bit too over-aggressive on point, and he just walks his trap of Alfredo Dan. That's what the stickies are for, to set traps on the point. And Dan, he's using a sticky launcher to lock out this wood aggression, but he's getting pushed on by Soldier from main, and he gets caught out. Saxophone and Tara work together to kill Dan, and that's opened the floodgates for the Lasana Fate to have to use onto this grass area against the large nine Uber. Ubers are exchanged, but players are behind. Tony B's blowing post Uber, and Anthony's behind too, making work with damage.
Behind.
But no, Saxophone's behind now. He's making his play, but he's just choosing to spam Alexa stay alive, and he's going to bomb on a plat and meet Alfredo Dan rolling out. He's going to make quick work of Alfredo Dan, and he does go down, but not without getting that pick. And Taro on the left side of the map, he tries to get Jude, but Jude's only down to 60 HP, gets cleaned up. This is looking like an even 4v4 right now, but no demo spam on the side of large Lasana Fe.
Oh my. Korean just synced 2 stickies and killed JPEG and did a million to Wonder, and then he piped Tony B. That's a 3K. For Korean really holding that down for his team in these last few seconds. He might have just won this round for his team as RayBC is coming up on Uber.
RayBC comes up on Uber, and now Lasana Fe, they're going to have to push back in. They're going to have to try to cap point against this full Uber disad. Anthony being really low and getting conquered by Saxophone doesn't help. And Frick My Nick and Korean, they've walked across point. They're meeting the players towards Wood and the health pack, and they get Dan and Jude, the first 2 casualties again. But this isn't as clean as they wanted it to be. There's only 3 players up, but they just have to play the heals. These need to segment the fights, and the Summon Val takes down the soldier on point. It's just Wonder on 7 HP. The timer is going down, but I don't think Dan would be able to roll it fast enough on time to land on point. Anthony's trying his best. Anthony's actually going to be the first one towards point, but no, he gets shot out of the air like Duck Hunt from Frick My Nick. And the first map goes in favor of Large 9. Yeah. That was a very fast first map.
Definitely. It was really back and forth there, especially at the end, but it did definitely seem like the more established team, Large 9, had a... it just seemed like they were a little more together and aware of what they wanted to do.
That being said, though, Delta, off of that decisive 3-0 win, we have the halftime analysis, or the post-map analysis from Gilbert. Welcome back, Gilbert. Any thoughts on the match so far? That seemed like a dominant showing from Large 9.
Yep, like we said, Large 9, aka Epic Gargamel, very good at this map, as we've seen so far. So not too surprising that they were able to dominate. Though they did have a few close calls. There were 2 rounds that were... not super dominant, and Santa Fe was able to get some good time. But I kind of agree with what Delta said. It just seems like, considering one team's basically a pug team, one team's more or less a real team with a few players changed ground, it's understandable that there's going to be a large difference in coordination. And exactly like you said, one team, Large 9, just seemed a bit more together than Santa Fe. Another thing that worked out very well for Large 9, Saxophone able to get behind quite often, make some big plays there. And I think a lot of this probably comes from the inexperience of Santa Fe, especially because of Jude, since he doesn't usually play Med, and probably has not played Med on this map very much. One thing that's very tricky about playing Med on this map, not only is dodging the spam, because there's not a great place to really stand to really avoid it easily. You really have to just keep your eyes out where it's coming from. But another thing is the fact that you kind of have to treat it like, I think of it kind of like if you ever played like Dota or League of Legends or any game like that, you have like your top lane, your left house, your bottom lane, the right house, and you have the mid lane. But you have to keep in mind that when someone's missing, you have to try to treat it like your lane's not worried when you're that med in the middle. And when you know there's someone not in that house, you have to keep an eye not to lean towards that side, to stay away from that side. And there were a couple times Jude was walking towards the unwatched side. Maybe just wasn't aware, maybe it wasn't called. And we saw that one time, for example, Wonder was across the point, and then Saxophone just walked through the left house as Jude walked towards the house that was unwatched and just got some easy rockets on him and was able to clean it up. Jude died with 97%, just a key point in that round. So little experience things like that were pretty clear, and I think the other issue is just dealing with the sack waves. It didn't seem like Santa Fe Laundromat was able to really deal with the sack waves effectively. We had one drop, and as well as a couple of other sack waves where they're just still able to get other forms of high value out of it. Do you have any other thoughts, Jay or DeltaMarket?
Yeah, Gilbert, I wanted to ask you about the Beggar's Bazooka. We did see a lot of really interesting high bombs coming out of it and some interesting plays, but do you think on this map it will, do you think the novelty might have worn off, or do you think that continuing on it will have a good impact and will allow Santa Fe to come back?
Yeah, I think the novelty has mostly worn off as I'll quickly wrap this up. Take it away, Delta.
Yeah, well, I'll take it away actually, because we are on the second map. Both teams have readied up already on Snakewater. Before that, while we head into this mid, shoutouts to our sponsors, Intel, Circle K, Monster Energy, and US Air Force. They are sponsoring the DreamHack tournament and its Community Clash Cup. But Delta, take away this first mid.
Yeah, both demos are spamming as it's a pretty standard mid. Both teams holding high ground. Both soldiers, Antoni and Saxophone on the high left. Looks like one team has, yeah, there it is. Saxophone initiating across, doing damage as Terra goes into the kitchen, and then Tony high-bombing across, landing onto RayVC, doing a lot of damage, but walking into the saw, but Alfredo Dan on the other side.
Behind.
Yeah, and it seems like Santa Fe just left the mid while Antoni was bombing. They're already down 3, and they're going to have to give it up all the way to last. Just running all the way back as Large 9 is just going to be able to take the second point.
You could tell the US Air Force doesn't want to enlist soldiers like Tony B and Antoni. They weren't able to have a successful bomb on that mid, and the soldiers instead of Large 9, looks like they might want to recruit those soldiers because Saxophone and Tar are doing their job, and they've led their team into a situation where they can push into this last point of Santa Fe. But Saxophone's working a stack towards Blue Shutter door, but he isn't able to get in any airtime, so he does go down from Tony B and JPEG, and there's going to be a sack work potentially by Antoni. Antoni's deep on a cheese, but he is down to 150 HP. They know he's here, and he gets absolutely shut out of the game.
Yeah, definitely. Saxophone did come up on Sniper, so it's going to take a while for Large 9 to be able to get in a position to sack, so they can't really take advantage of their player ad.
Saxophone actually being on the Sniper, you know, this actually does match the fact that I don't really anticipate Rive or Frick My Nick to be Sniper players, but I do expect Saxophone, having seen him on his other teams before in the past. He does like that Sniper role, but there's just been Snipers that are better on his team that just haven't enabled him to off-class as much as he would on this team now. So he's going to be working towards lower. Peeks in, just barely misses the soldier Tony B, who was peeking in, just getting some spam in. But now he's going to work towards Shutter, and he's going to meet Antoni here. Might get this air shot, or this body shot, but doesn't hit it. Antoni's deep. Antoni's in on the Sniper, and there's JPEG to also pressure too, but JPEG's dangerously low. He goes down to Frick My Nick, peeking Shutter, and Tara's walking from lower. Look at how low Jude is. Jude, you might be dying, my dear friend. And Alfredo Dan's caught on an island alone. He's gonna go down, and the force goes out because Saxophone peeked from top left. The defense just crumbled on the side of Santa Fe. And for the side of Large 9, they have the convenience, the Circle K convenience of the Uber ad from RayVC. They're gonna go in with just their 3 players, but the respawns are gonna come in. Frick My Nick was flashed out, so they won't be able to play point. And this was a bit of an overzealous Uber, because they flashed their scout, they just weren't able to play the
And
frags.
Tony jumping into lobby though as Wonder runs in through lower, gonna clean up RayVC and Frick My Nick. That was a great pinch by both of them. And on that defense, Antoni did a great job getting that force off on top right, and then using the beggars to jump back to spawn immediately was really interesting. I don't think he could have won that without that weapon.
Right on indeed. And Wonder and JPEG, they're going to lead the charge from lower because Korean had to respawn. They read the fact that there are going to be no CT shots here on the mid, and they have overwhelming momentum here on the side of Santa Fe. They have 50% Uber ad. They also have the mid cap, and now they can work in a second. If they just go fast enough too, they could potentially get the walk in the last off of it.
Yeah, it looks like Santa Fe is taking it through soft. Alfredo Dan clearing the stickies a bit, and I want to see if they try and hold this Uber, but there's a high bomb. No one sees him Saxophone landing, but he somehow didn't quite get that timing right, unfortunately, but he does live. It looks like Santa Fe is able to take this point without getting forced, though. And
RayVC wasn't beaming either. Wait, there's a bot! Jump over! Jump! Oh my gosh! Just a second off!
Yeah, but the Uber's coming in immediately through lower as Alfredo Dan bombs through with Wonder. Wonder's playing the point at the start. Everyone's in spawn. No one can block the point, but their Terra is behind, getting that in the nick of time, but no one stayed on the point after Terra bombed it.
Yeah, it looked like everybody on the side of Larson had kited into spawn, so that allowed Warner to just play point, and he was the main focus, and even Jude was taking out the Solemn Bout to get that additional 3 times on the cap, so really good job playing the point. It's not about the frags, you know. If you can force them all to kite like that, you can just play the point and get it for free. So first round, off to Santa Fe. Next mid, we're going to see Alfredo Dan and Korean getting to mid about the same time, trading some spam and 6 onto each other. Soldier does take a bit of damage there from Alfredo Dan's stick, and Antoni's in the kitchen here, so he's gonna go straight into the medic. RayVC towards the crate. He does, or towards the barrels, and he gets bombed by Tony B and Antoni, the tag team duo, or just cleaning up towards Saul. But in the meanwhile, Jude had been bombed by Saxophone, and Korean had killed Tony B. So they're looking worse for wear than when they started the mid for the side of Lasanafe, but it's a scout v scout. Oh, what? Oh, it's not going in favor of Lasanafe.
Yeah, Wonder and JPEG were the last ones alive, but Wonder now has full health, not able to win it out against the lower health player. Usually, you know, scout combos living at the end of a mid can be good, but the soldiers hit their rockets and clean them up.
Saxophone and Tara, they're already on cheese and in point, and Tara's going to catch out an overextended player that was off rail again, and Tony B's in the sky. He got hit, and he gets repelled, but Bozo just missed the air shot, so they aren't able to clean up Tony B. Would have been a highlight reel for sure, like Saxophone's clips on Bagel, but Large 9, they have second point, but it's currently even right now, but they're trying to drive to top right, but Tony B's just stuffing it with his rockets. So much damage done on the top right will deny the push.
Yeah, it looks like both teams are going to be about even, but Jude is on a slight disad. I want to see if Large 9 decides to take it. They assume it's even anyway. Ubers have now finally evened out. But JPEG going down and lower, it looks like.
Wasn't sure what the rationale was for taking that lower fight. It's an easy place to get stuffed in by a soldier in a 1v1 and get bounced around as a scout especially. But that opens up the floodgates for a potential sag towards Shutter, which is where Tara is in from. The Sicky doesn't get dead on him. He is able to jump with Saxophone speed shotting in from the bats area, but Judy hits the respawn bind, will be able to live. And it's just Anthony that's the only casualty.
Yeah, both soldiers down. Now, it looks like Santa Fe is going to want to do some sort of aggression here, but Tony B dying to a sticky. It looked like...
It was a trap.
Yeah, it was above the top right door. So, good job watching his trap Korean. And it looks like through Shutter is the red team walking in with Korean doing a lot of damage and span, but Korean isn't really being supported by his team, so he has to run away, it looks like.
The scout might get caught out, or the soldier might get caught out here towards lower. Tara does get arrowed eventually, so he will be able to live. Right now, everybody in Large 9 is flooding into the lobby here. They just want to be able to figure out where the best opening is. And generally, when you stack on Snake Water, you pressure at the guy towards Shutter, which is what they're doing on Tony, and you could potentially jump from Shutter. Anthony doesn't live, but Tony B does trade out for a soldier. I think that was towards the lower area. Yes, it was. So actually, now it's on the balls court for Santa Fe to work a sack. Tony B is trying to get in, even Anthony too, but Anthony gets hit by sticks. He can't sack, and Tony B isn't in a position to sack either, so we might just be playing the round timer here.
Yeah, it looks like Saxophone is bombing into right lobby onto JPEG. He knew he was there, but JPEG doing a great job moving, getting that kill. Might have given his team an opportunity to do some sort of aggression, but it looks like they are going to be content to let the timer.
Oh, Wonder's in from Bats, but he's alone. I'm not sure if they were trying to just use through Bats there, but Jude was just 3 steps behind, it felt like. So Wonder's going to die alone. Nobody's going to be visiting that guy's funeral, but in the meanwhile, this situation is basically reset here.
It's like Alfredo Dan hitting a detonation as Terra tried to speed shot in through right. And looks like there's some fighting going on in lower as Tony B trades it out with Saxophone, and both scouts hurt my Nick running in, trying to chase down JPEG, but they're not able to commit.
So we might see Saxophone go up on Cyber, considering he was the only loss there for the side of Large 9, as that was a one-man sack. In the meanwhile, Wonder did go Sniper temporarily, but he chose to switch back to Scout. We're in that classic CB Snake water hold, but thankfully with the new rule set, instead of seeing 10-minute stalemates, we're going to see a 5-minute stalemate potentially. But Large 9, they have about 3 more chances to work a sack, and then they have to use it, and they're going to switch things up. It's Saxophone on the Spy class. And Anthony's on Pyro! I think he was spy checked by one of the players on Lasanafe, so I think they're aware of the Pyro.
Terra's high bombing in, landing on as the Gurkhan Scout ran in through Shutter right, almost capped the point. That's 2 down for the side of Large 9, but with the point time, they have.
Wait, Saxophone can play point then, but Anthony's. Oh, he has a heads up play.
Yeah, they know about the spy. That's why they're staying. They can't really take advantage of their player ad.
Yeah, I knew that they had spy checked the spy, but maybe they had forgotten. I don't know. I was hoping like there was a pipeline dream that they just forgot about it, but I guess not. The Saxophone's actually going to go back because they're aware of it, and they're going to switch Tara to Sniper now. So Tara actually has played Sniper before. I think when he was playing Scout in main, or like in main as a soldier. I forget if he was playing Scout or soldier, but he's on Sniper, so they're going to switch things up. And there's only 50 seconds left. So, yeah.
It's really important to note that Santa Fe still thinks there's a spy, it looks like, and so they're playing a little differently. They might not expect the sniper now.
That opens up Shutter too.
Yeah. It opens up some sight lanes where players might be falling. But
That being
he called for medics, so I believe Santa Fe probably heard that.
That being said, though, they're flooding towards Shutter. The one opening in Santa Fe's defense, and Anthony, he's focused on the soldier, and he does go down. Now the time you want to have a soldier, and Rise is going to play point, forces up the Uber, but 3 players have fallen on the side of Large 9. They tried in, they all went in, they clumped up and tried to deathball, but they just weren't able to Uber on time to save the players. Ray dropping 3 players, and Wonders behind. They might be trying to play point here, but I wouldn't try to cap here. I would just reset on the mid if I was Santa Fe. They're not going to reset the round?
It looks like they have gotten off point, Jay.
Okay, thank God.
So,
Wonder if he was trying to play point there for a second.
well, they might have just had a lot of confidence in their second holds. I haven't seen them do one of that yet. Either way, we are going to be going to the 3rd bid fight, even though there has only been 1 round won.
Well, next round we're gonna be we're gonna reset on our 3rd mid now, even though it's 1-0 because of the Unity rule set. With the 5-minute round timer, it's gonna be a lot more resets here. And next mid, Korean and Alfredo Dan get there at the same time again, and Anthony's high bomb Beggar's bazooka. He's in on the medic. Ray that he gets the pick. My God, I was worried there for the Beggar's bazooka inaccuracy, and my goodness, that's the benefit of having the Beggar's bazooka. And especially with the CV Snakewater update, where it actually increases the length of the kitchen wall on Catwalk, that allows Anthony to get way more height with his high bomb there on the biggest bazooka.
Yeah, definitely. Even if the other team kind of might be expecting it or know he's on the weapon, it's really hard to deal with, especially when he just launches himself into the skybox. There's no way the scouts can deny him. And when he hits the rockets, it's going to kill someone, as we just saw. Oh, it looks like the pause has ended. Tony B bombing across, killing Terra, landing in Saw, and JPEG playing on the high ground as Tony B is still behind, doing a lot of damage to the Korean.
Oh no, they were so focused on Trick My Nick walking in from Santa Fe's kitchen that they didn't care about Rive walking first point, and Rive punishes them for that. She gets the pick on the Jude, and now it's an even 3v3 on the mid, but the players are so low on the side of Santa Fe. It's just JPEG towards low run. Now 67 HP, but he's gonna have to concede the mid.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like the Ubers are going to be basically even now, and Santa Fe is going to be able to hold their second point most likely. The cap does finally go down for the side of Large 9. Looks like there is some aggression in Saw by Saxophone, I believe.
Saxophone is pressure indeed, and even Frick My Nick is trying to kill JPEG towards lower, but Alfredo Dan backs up his partner in crime. Anthony's deep though. Look at this, he's high in the sky. He's landing, it's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Anthony, and he gets the pick on the Ray Macy despite getting air shot by Tara.
Yeah, definitely 3 down for the side of Santa Fe as Tara bombs in, getting another kill. He's just on a tear, destroying everyone on the side of Santa Fe, and now there's an opportunity to push last. Saxophone's in, but a lot of these players are hurt, and the players from Santa Fe have the reset like Catalyst. Alfredo Dan doing a lot of damage as June finds a kill, trades out another, but until it's just not quite able to block that. Really aggressive.
I didn't want to interrupt you there, but I saw an air shot from I think Tara, so. But sorry, continue what you were saying.
Oh, I was just gonna say, that was a really aggressive play for the side of Large 9 as their players were hurt, but it worked out for them. They did a really good job quickly getting on point and killing Alfredo Dan.
That ties things up, and that was where the pause was. I think it was player on was Large 9 had disconnected. So now they're back in the server. We're going to reset on the mid. 16 minutes and 40 to boot. And both teams are just playing passive mid. It's usually been Anthony doing the aggression, but now it's Tara. But that's going to be a fade. That's going to bait out the bomb of Anthony, who is going to fade in kind. Tony B walking across top right, trying to punish the players on Catwalk, but he isn't able to. Anthony's getting ran at by Rive, who just bulldozes him. Does get the pick, and Tara is on the flank towards Kitchen, gets 2 picks towards the Lord, make that 3, as he gets Tony B. JPEG and Wonder down 2, and Tara's already on the chase.
Yeah, definitely. Santa Fe just needs to clean up these mids, as I believe Large 9 is kind of running away with it. Looks like Alfredo Dan really aggressive in lobby, but someone went through lower, is on Jude. Alfredo Dan split from his combo, and Jude going down is horrible for the side of Santa Fe.
Why is Jude alone there towards truck? But never mind that. Brave AC now has the full Uber ad, and now they can walk it in. This should be a walk in the park for these guys. They booked it towards lower, and they are going to lead on Frick My Nick. They're walking up, but no, the trap! Oh my God, it drops! It drops Brave AC! see! Rick My Nick didn't see it 4x3, but the players on Santa Fe, they're still dropping.
The
It's
point,
just hard to-
Korean just walks on the point. No way, just caps that right under the nose of the side of Santa Fe after that Uber drop. That must be heartbreaking for the side of Santa Fe.
Santa Fe, they had bought insurance with a JPEG heavy, but JPEG went down way too early there in that last push, just playing on point alone. And I guess I just didn't take account for that because nobody played the point. And like you said, Delta, Korean plays it, gets the round in the lead for his team, and we're heading into this next one. Anthony's already deep, but he got hit by I think he got hit by a stick before the bomb, but he gets absolutely denied. They were so ready for the early bomb. Tony B's behind, but there's aggression on point. Frags are traded, Tara going down, but Tony B has regrouped with his team. They're trying to focus on Frick towards the crate, and they're taking overwhelming control at this point, but Frick My Nick taking the fight against Tony B. He might get caught out. He's going to get sandwiched from lower by Wonder and Alfredo Dan, and that is the mid for Santa Fe.
Yeah, definitely 2 down now, and Santa Fe, that's definitely what they needed after that last round. They need to take control, get a round back, and Wonder is leading this charge on point. Tony B trying to block out the top left as Terra stuck in cheese and gets killed by Tony B. Good job by Tony B being aware he could catch that player out. That's 1 down, even Uber, so I want to see Santa Fe do some sort of aggression here, try and get the force off.
Ubers are even right now. Tara did die in that, and Anthony tries to go in for the force, but he comes out relatively unscathed, but Saxophone tries to counter-attack from lower, and he does get the force. Gets the force onto Jude, and now Rayvacy and Coke can push back in with Uber should they choose to do so. And they are. In fact, my Nick's already on the case. They're walking in through bucket door lobby, and now they're rotating to bats right now. They should get in cleanly. There is no traps there. Soldier is jumping out. That is Korean also bombing on the bats. But there's traps on the logs that they need to take account for. If they don't, Rayvacy might drop again, and Frick My Nick, he does spot it. Anthony is killed in the backlines, but Tony B's in on the medic! Oh, isn't able to get the force though.
Yeah, definitely, and both soldiers down for the side of Santa Fe without getting that force. It's gonna mean Large 9 can push this very easily as long as no one dies to a trap, and it looks like they've gotten who saw Korean just jumping across everyone from Santa Fe, not even putting up a fight because they have no soldiers. And yeah, the Uber advantage is still there. So from last to last is gonna be, looks like it's gonna be driven from last to last by Large 9, as they've already walked in through Saw, Saxophone on the pipe, spamming towards him, Tony.
Rayvacy, you're caught up, but Alfredo then had a pipe trap, I think, and he gets the kill onto Frick My Nick. Uber does get forced out, but Tara goes down too. Rive has to connect late into the Uber, so this Uber is already looking really bad in terms of the exchange with Frick My Nick going down too. Rive going down, that doesn't help their troubles either. And Large 9, Medic's getting chased, Wonders on Rayvacy, and he gets the pick, might be able to clean up Saxophone, and they do. It's a complete team wipe. Large 9, they do have a cyber forwards though. This might be the saving grace, but Anthony should be able to spot this out early.
Yeah, it seems like he's probably seen it, but Antony might actually be a little overextended, but good job landing on the pipe, saving his health. Frick My Nick is still in forwards. He's opened the shutter again.
Our control point is being captured.
Yeah, it's being trapped off, so yeah, he's decided to back spawn, so there's no more of those shenanigans. Looks like the Uber is in the favor of Santa Fe. Jude has about 75 Uber, where Rayvacy's only about 30. So they're going to be able to take some sort of Uber. Looks
So,
like
Santa Fe, though, they have to worry about the Frick My Nick sniper. Frick My Nick is suited and spawned, ready to switch back to scout, though. And the Sentry won't be able to deny the Uber, but it should be a surprise to them as they use him through Shutter, leading on Wonder. The Sentry makes its entry into the foray, and they shoot it down without Alfredo's help, who did go down, actually. He got bombed for Shutter and walked out by Tara, and Saxophone does die, but Rayvacy's dead. It's a 4v4 point, and Anthony's doing so much damage on the Korean and Frick My Nick, but it's just Wonder and Jude. They're gonna book it out, but thankfully, Delta, they have the Uber.
yeah, definitely. It looked like Santa Fe had an opportunity to kill Saxophone, who was kind of overextended in drop down, but Wonder just ignored him, and he did a bunch of damage to the players in lobby. And I have to question if Saxophone died, maybe that push would have gone differently. But looks like there is another Uber advantage for Jude, so he will have a second attempt, this time pushing into second.
They have a second attempt. They have 50 Uber Wonder and Dan should be getting the charge. Hopefully they don't drop Dan this time, because Dan got bounced from that drop down soldier that you said was Saxophone. And they are going to lead in on Tony B. Tony B does get air shot. MGE is won by Saxophone, but Saxophone doesn't have the Uber ad or the heals. So he has to back up towards the pack. But look at this. Large 9, they're going to cut out, and they've delayed long enough to potentially get the super ad.
Our control point.
Yeah, the sticky traps have been found that were on point, so no one will die to those. And as you said, the Ubers will even out. There is a sentry gun, so we have to see how Santa Fe wants to break this hold.
Santa Fe, they do second. Tony B speed shotting in through the bucket door. He is deep, and Anthony's in, gets the spoon, I think, or maybe the bazooka onto the soldier.
Yeah, I think he market guarded Saxophone. That was a crazy jump he did. Really surprised me. And looks like Tony B fighting in lower as some players try and chase, but they catch some rockets. Frick my Nick almost going down there.
So large number 9. I'm just saying large 9 because it's just easier to say. They're gonna be working they're gonna be able to stifle that sack from Anthony. And they're just gonna be working, you know, maybe trying to reset here, because really it's up to Santa Fe. They're down 1-2. So they need to work the sack. It's up to them to break this last hold and get the force off. But they're going for the traditional setup that we saw popularized at the I series. Specifically by Frototech, where you have the sentry on the grass area, you have your soldier locking to your pocket soldier locking down lower, which is where Anthony and Tony B are trying to pick up, but they're getting stuffed by the sentry and Tara, and Saxophone obviously being towards shop. So this is a really hard hold to break, Delta.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, Santa Fe's talking about what they want to do. Alfredo Dan or Wonder, some people with a lot of game knowledge who know how to deal with these situations. So we can see a really good sack attempt and see Santa Fe get back in this game.
So we're gonna see the Frick My Nick sniper to try to at least help, because, you know, with the sentry you don't really need to have a scout. Assuming, but if the sentry does go down, you don't have a scout to fall back on. So Frick My Nick has to play very conservative on point there. Tony B's trying to spam from drop down onto the sentry, but isn't able to get a good sight line. It's blocked by that metal sheet, and Tony B dies trying to commit for it too. So now we should be seeing Saxophone stack potentially too. He is in lower, has to guard the mini pack, is getting ready to jump, but he's already staring down the barrel of a scout who is positioned neatly on the crate. Ooh, headshot out.
Great denial by JPEG, not letting a counter sack do anything. Looks like still no off classes for the side of Santa Fe, so we have to see if they try and either spam down the gun or do some other sort of play to get the force.
So right now, we're kind of in our traditional CP Snake Water hold. It's so, this is one of the maps, just like Gully Watch, where it's really hard to push out of the last. You kind of just have to, with this new rule set, you kind of just have to consolidate, get your eggs gathered together, and just hope that you can hold it on long enough for the round to reset. Saxophone is so low, he actually is getting pressured out by Tony B, but JPEG gets the pick with Tony B spam rocket, and Tony B's overcommitted on 30 HP, so he goes down. Anthony in the meanwhile was trying to also get that sentry down, but wasn't able to get anything. And JPEG going down too, that's gonna potentially get an Uber exchange out. Frick My Nick wants to do it. No, Frick My Nick is actually on sniper. He wanted the hero shot, and even Tara is trying to go for this force, and if he goes down, that's bad. You don't have as much defenses to defend your sentry, but Tara makes it out, gets away. Oh, Korean!
Definitely. Wonder does get cleaned up at Shutter, and as you said, that's another unsuccessful sack. The time's really ticking down.
Well, the time is ticking down, but I mean, Saxophone going down. Oh my gosh! Thank God the Beggar's Bazooka has inaccuracy, because Tony had the crosshair correct. Sorry.
Yeah, so Saxophone's counter sack getting denied, but now Wonder's decided he's had enough. Wonder is on Spy, taking the game into his own hands. I don't know if anyone on the other team has been checking for these off classes, but Wonder is already in, and I'm gonna be watching him, seeing if he can come up.
Yeah, so he has two options here. He can sap the sentry and coordinate with one of his soldiers, or he can just go for the straight up stab.
He's taking the teleporter, I think. Oh, it looked like he was trying.
If he gets the NG and the sentry, this is good. He saps the sentry, tries to get the NG. He beat the shot, but that allowed Tony to Anthony to second, and they do get the engineer, but they lost 3. So Tony B and Jude now make that 4 now, like you said, Delta, and now they're on Jude.
No.
Tara and Saxophone, they double bomb on Jude, and Jude with his 3rd drop of the game. Maybe it's 4th actually.
It's either 3 or 4, but either way, that's so unfortunate. Looks like large number 9 is going to be able to push through
Wait,
Saw.
Anthony, oh, he mistimed it, but he does gash out Tar. He did that high bomb. And he's in on the medic! Oh my gosh! Oh, he gets caught up by JPEG too.
Yeah, JPEG tried to coordinate. You know, Antonio was at really low health there. JPEG might have thought he had a chance of getting that kill and ran in, but unfortunately now that means there's 2 down. And Wonder going down on Sniper and Saw alone, not being supported, means that number 9 is just going to be able to walk on through.
Anthony, no! He just walked in like blindly because he just walked into the traps in the forest. He just wasn't aware that Green was already a step ahead of the rest of his team. So now Anthony's down and Wonder being down, and now they have full Uber Dishad. Frick, my Nick's on the case. They're using it to last. Frick's going straight for point. It's just JPEG. They need to shoot on the heavy first, and they do make quick work of JPEG. Uber does end, but they flash Saxophone, who does massive damage towards right door. Players are consolidating on the point. Anthony's the last one alive on 34 HP, doing his best on the last man stand, but he isn't enough. Large number 9 that is. Gotta get a large number 9 because they just took the round.
Yeah, definitely. That's 3-1 for the side of large number 9. So Santa Fe really needs to win that mid like they did last time in aggressive fashion.
Large 9 looks like victory's all but secured with the way this game is going, but with Santa Fe, because of the Unity rule set, you have a chance to come back. Just because it ends with a 30-minute timer doesn't mean you still go into overtime. But next mid, we see a player behind the kitchen, I think, and that's Anthony going deep for the bomb, but once again, being the first casualty of the mid, yet again, his aggressive bombs are being caught out. Rive is aggressing, but she gets caught up by Tony B, who is right behind her. But Jude, the aggression from Tara and Frick My Nick, they all end. They 4-man for Jude, and they only lost 2 for it. It's all falling apart. Alfredo down the last one on mid, while Wonder all the way back on second, who went to kill, I believe, a soldier behind. So, wow, what a dominant mid from Large 9.
Yeah, that's really going to keep Santa Fe from doing what they wanted to do, which was get around. But Wonder runs in through almost getting on Brave AC. And that must have scared them.
The scout was kind of looking around like the Contravolta meme there. Like he completely wasn't keeping track of Wonder there. But regardless, Brave AC still has that Uber ad, and they should be able to walk in the last year off of it. So JPEG off class on the Pyro. That's interesting considering it's Snakewater last, but really good to stop the Shadow Uber, but Frick My Nick is going through lower instead. And they are going to meet JPEG, but look at this! Brave AC hasn't been forced yet! Brave AC is just milking so hard, and finally the Uber goes up, but look at the position of Pri and Frick. They're so far forward into the last point, and they baited out the soldier bomb from Anthony too. This is looking so good for them. They just have to worry about Wonder, and it's just him. 4th round in favor of large number 9.
Yeah, definitely that round coming out, really showing, I guess, the advantages of playing in a tournament with your established teammates. It seems like large number 9 is really able to coordinate a lot of these pushes, and they're not really letting their advantages go to waste.
I'll let you take away this next mid. We see Anthony making the same mistake again. Because he's the first casualty in the last 3 mids, he's been losing his team these mids.
Yeah, it looks like both teams are just spamming for now, and there it is, Antoni initiating a Sax Terror bombs across for the other team, doing 1,000,000 damage to Rave AC as Antoni, but even players. Rive is going behind and lower, it looks like, but Tony B is wise to it and catches him out. But regardless of their player disadvantage, large number 9 is just running across. They get pressured out though, have to run away. No one died during that aggression. But it looks like Wonder wants to take his team through lower. Looks like he's on the hut.
Oh, but 6-1 in! Oh, someone save! Oh, he lands on the awning and gets...
Terror's in window, walking through, doing 1,000,000 damage to Jude, but he's not able to find both the rockets. I think he shot his first rocket blind, but somehow there's a force coming out of Brave AC.
Anthony. Oh, he gets a pick on the demo man, and now he can potentially get Frick. And meanwhile, Korean goes down towards lower, and with his dying rocket, his last breath, he gets the kill on that scout. It's just Saxon to defend point, but you can definitely walk into last here, Delta.
Yeah, they definitely can walk into last. Looks like Wonder is taking that 1v1 and just wins it. And it's going to be 4-2. Unfortunately for Santa Fe, the time is running down, and so, they're going to have to put all their effort into this, but it's going to be nigh impossible for them to win this.
Down but not out yet. Santa Fe, they're on their last steps here, but they can still make a comeback work here. It's just a matter of regaining their composure. And Anthony despite dying without getting any kills, that bomb onto the Railway C stifled the walk cross from in a point. So next mid here, Masanafe, they're playing a bit passive right now, and given the circumstances of this match, I'm not surprised. They're gonna wait for the bomb. Now they're gonna aggress. They got baited by the Fade bomb. Anthony's deep, but he's gonna be met by Rive, but he does get the pick. Anthony giving his team an entry into the mid, and they've isolated the saxophone bomb on top left. They get that pick. It's just Korean they have to worry about. Tara's already booking it out. They could catch a Korean, and Alfredo Dan hits the sticky from afar.
Yeah, definitely 3 down now for the side of Large 9 as Santa Fe runs in. Wonder kind of ahead of his team, might be caught out, but it looks like he trusts his team to follow him. And he's kind of chasing into lobby a little bit. Might try and chase Terra, but catching some rockets. He thinks better of it.
Looks like Lasana Fe, they've restocked on the Monster Energy drinks from Circle K. They are prepped and ready to go, but it's currently even. They'll have to wait for the Anthony bomb. It's deep on a Railway C, but the inaccuracy of the biggest bazooka won't net him any damage. But Railway C, he caught a stick. Ooh, that was close.
Yeah, that was definitely really close, as you said. And counter sack, yeah, saxophone jumping straight in, doing a bunch of damage there, but it looks like JPEG does a great job denying all of those counter sacks. We are seeing the same hold we have seen in the past. Riot has a sentry gun in the middle. This has been really difficult.
Anthony's sniper. My goodness.
Yeah, this hold has been pretty difficult to break, and so Anthony decides he's had enough, I guess, and he comes up on sniper.
And he's been spotted out by Korean, who was falling back, reloading some sticks after setting up that bucket trap towards the bucket door in lobby. So they know that there's a sniper on the field, and now with the 30-minute rule set going down, it's first to 5 at Anthony. Korean played dangerous games, and he paid the price for it with death. Anthony with that pick allows the pressure from drop down to come into effect with Saxophone being so low, but they still aren't able to get enough ground to shoot down the sentry. Tara makes up for the loss of Korean by picking up top right, but now lowers free with Saxophone holding towards drop down, but I don't think they're aware of it on the side of Lasana Fe. They're gonna bomb Tony B in, and he gets blasted in the sky. That's a US Air Force bomb right there, my guy, but it's not enough to get anything. But Jude gets bombed from lower by Saxophone. The one opening in the defense turns into an opening for an offensive play as Saxophone gets that force.
Yeah, great job. It's taken them a while, but the counter sack finally pays off. Saxophone kept going for it. And looks like large number 9 is going to be pushing in through bats. And Wonder runs in through cheese. Someone spots him, but he's already on last.
But he's brought 3 back. No, it's just 2. But it took my nick. Wait, they brought 3 back now. It's just a soldier backing up now, and Wonder, he's winning the 2v1 actually, and he's allowed his team to walk back in to get a kill on a Korean who was a lone defending point. Wonder's in. He's dancing around. The Uber comes out from Large 9. But look, Wonder, he has a chance to go back to last. Look at this, but no, he doesn't know that there's a player not on last. He can fall back to cheese, and he makes it out.
Second spin capped, so he couldn't back cap there. But it looks like he's come back in through his team. He's running in through lower. Actually, he's just all the way in. Eating a rocket makes him run away. But Jude has Uber advantage. This is Santa Fe's chance to get back in this game, take a round. And looks like they're playing by the Shutter side. Probably going to do some sort of demo bomb through Shutter, as we see many teams do.
Lead it away, Delta.
Looks like Uber's coming out as a...
That's a good bomb, but they give it a century. Wonder does have to play point here, but he gets instantly bombed by Saxophone, who gives up his life in order to deny the point time. And Jayberg's going to try to play point too, but look at this, the heavy. A fully buffed heavy there, going to deny point. It's going to be a huge sponge of damage to effectively eliminate any chance of Lasana Fe taking that last push there.
Yeah, definitely, especially coming in late like that, man. I don't think Alfredo Dan really had anything loaded, and so no one was really able to damage the heavy.
So Wonder now in the mid forwards here as a sniper, but actually no, he's going from catwalk, so he's expecting the catwalk push to come out, but that's not where large number 9 are going. They're going through Saw, but Alfredo Dan combined with Anthony's high bomb does kill Tara, but they didn't get the force. That was their ultimate objective, but they just weren't able to succeed.
Yeah, definitely. Rave AC still has his Uber advantage. Wonder playing on Sniper in Saw as he gets chased away, somehow living. He's been in that spot so many times on Sniper, I think. But looks like the Ubers might actually equal as Rave is trying to take it in.
Wait, what's Anthony doing? He's peeking! He peeks open the spawn door, is heavy, he gets the force on a Rave AC! What a gimmick play there, but it works out, so I'm not gonna judge it.
Yeah, Uber is going to be ready for juice, but
He's
the
got
cap...
this. Wait, frick! It's a 1v1 versus Anthony on last! He's facing JPEG too! Oh, didn't work out. Sorry there, Delta.
Yeah, looks like on bats is Alfredo, Dan, and Jude. And Rive was trying to get that force, but on his own, he's not going to be able to get any. So the point's going to fall. Might be denying Frick by Nick Spawn. And Santa Fe is going to be taking this Uber in through Saw, it looks like.
But Saxophone's there to meet them, but Saxophone's down to 90 HP. He's gonna have to get arrowed, but he needs to get arrowed fast. Oh, thank God. He gets that arrow, and he's able to bomb on the Jude, and kind of like, the shot! He gets the rocket, the wall shot on the Jude, and that's a med drop. Jude not having a good day there, my dear friend. And now, Large 9, they can settle the bets here. They should be able to win this.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen every time Large Number 9 has their advantages, they rarely let them slip away, and they're definitely going to want to put this one away, as it will end this game if they win this round. And Tony, though, is setting up a high bomb, landing onto the combo, but he only hits one rocket onto the medic, the other one hits the scout. Saxophone bombing bridge kills Alfredo Dan. That's 3 down for the side of Santa Fe.
And remember, we are in the continuous overtime rule set, so now if they get this round on side of Frick, my Nick and Co, they win the game and they move on to the third place match, and it's starting off with a good Uber use, and with look at these respawn timers, they're not going to be here on time. Large number 9. Can I get a number 9? Take the match 5-2.
Yeah, you definitely can, as they do win this and are able to play again the loser of the winner's bracket. I was really impressed by their...
Yes. Let's look at the logs, and then we also have Gilbert on the sidelines waiting to give us a post-match analysis. Dr. Underscore is going to be bringing you guys the post-match logs in just a second. Hopefully they're up for you guys. But if I look at the logs here, I'm seeing a really good job done by the soldiers of, what is it? Large number 9. Gilbert, any thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, large number 9, soldiers getting huge value. A lot of good picks. A couple drops, I believe. I believe there were 2 drops on the side of Jude. But also Anthony, you know, had a lot of deaths. Did die at some bad times, but also had some big plays, especially on the mids. Of course, we saw that one Beggar's Bazooka play, getting the med pick. A big part of why they were able to kind of turn around the game a little bit and get some success on these mids. I think another big story of the game was the last pushes. It seemed like whenever Blue, Santa Fe, Laundromat went in, it seemed like they're kind of split in the post fight. So if they didn't just outright win the fight or roll off picks, it felt like they had trouble really converting those Uber ads into rounds. On the other hand, when we saw Large 9 push in, it felt like they're able to milk in really deep and just get so much value out of their Uber that it's pretty much a free post fight for them. One thing I kept an eye on was the fact that the Heavy was playing up pretty far. At one point, he's playing on the point and got picked really early. Losing your Heavy that early, just, you know, a free kill like that makes it very hard to hold. And another thing I would have liked to have seen on the side of Santa Fe Laundromat was a defensive sniper on this ad. It just seemed like it was too easy for Large 9 to milk these Ubers in and get such good value out of them because they were able to walk in without fearing that sniper. Aside from that one little issue at the beginning where they were able to milk it in but dropped to the trap. Aside from that, it went very well on their end. The only other story I'd really like to focus on for this match is it seemed like both teams did have some trouble breaking last. We did see quite a few stalemates trying to break that last. Notoriously very difficult to break with the gun in the lower spot, in the so-called banny spot. I found it kind of odd. We didn't really see them rotate the heels lower to really spam down the gun. Felt like the guns had a lot of uptime. Though I did like to see what Santa Fe Laundromat tried, where they went for the quick spy sap followed by the sack, which was a nice little adaptation to try to deal with that. But did see some round resets, had it slowing down at that point. But aside from that, still overall a pretty fun match. Do you have any other thoughts?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about the Beggar's Bazooka. I was really surprised. I think Anthony not only was using it for certain high bombs and stuff, but I think it actually aided him in surviving a lot of situations with rocket jumping away, doing pogos. I think it actually won them a last defense.
Absolutely, Antony was very elusive, and in hindsight, I'm not too surprised that it worked a little bit better on this map. There's just so many better angles to use it on, as opposed to Bagel, where the high bombs are a little bit more awkward and less powerful.
Well, that being said, guys, large number 9, they move on to the lower bracket final to face off against the loser of 20ZC versus Ferotech, which will be up next at around 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me quickly check. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that is. So don't forget to tune back in at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Meanwhile, La Santa Fe, they finish in 4th place, so they will be coming home off of this online cup. They committed 2 weekends for it, and they come home with $240. So congratulations to them on their placement. Sadly, you won't get a 4th place medal. They don't do places for 4th place finishers, but all good for that. That being said, though, guys, any final thoughts, like MVPs of the match, players that surprised you a lot during this match? I'm going to say it outright and center. I think Rive's aggression is just kind of gave me, like, a huge surprise, because I think Rive is an underrated player. Like, she's kind of been hovering around mid-low advanced, but she finally showed up, like, today.
Yeah, definitely. I would also mention Saxophone. I think the way he was playing in both matches, on Bagel just getting behind, causing a lot of problems for Santa Fe, and on Snakewater, he was just really consistent in team fights, doing all the damage he needed to do, and getting some really clutch forces during his sacks.
I also want to give a quick shout out to Anthony too. So sorry to interrupt, Gilbert, but Anthony's bombs, like, I mean, a lot of those bombs are not something you normally see at a high level, and a lot of people don't know Anthony, but Anthony's like really notorious here in North America for his Beggar's Bazooka, and you saw a lot of creative and interesting skip jump combos that you can do with the Beggar's Bazooka. So definitely watch his demos from this. He's a bit of an interesting player, to say the least. Continue, Gilbert. Sorry.
Yeah, man, and I just wanted to second that, really. Just saying that, yeah, it definitely seemed like the soldiers were kind of the stars of the show, as well as Rive, as you said. Rive making a bunch of plays both in this match and in the previous match against Rome. And, both soldiers both had a great game on Snakewater, and then Antony as well, making some very good plays, keeping the team in the game.
Wow. You guys have the chance to go take a break. You have an hour and 20. In that time, what can you do? You can go to a Circle K convenience store. You can go grab some Monster Energy. Those are 2 of our sponsors for the DreamHack Community North American Clash Cup. Or if you have the time, maybe you want to go waste 4 years in the military. You have that time to go get your free education. Go sign up for the U.S. Air Force. They're looking for soldier mains just like you if you are a soldier main. Or, if you're looking to build your next PC, go buy something from Intel. They got some nice CPUs. The 12th gen has been pretty good so far. A huge upgrade from the 11th gen. So go check out those 4 sponsors. They are sponsoring this cup. And special thanks to Essentials TF for letting us broadcast this cup. So we'll see you guys at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the continuation of this coverage. We'll be covering the upper bracket final between 20ZC versus Ferotech. Until then.